vinyl community, Dark Dove back with you again with a general update. For those of you who saw my last video and Ben Costello's accompanying video, last weekend, prior weekend was we both did a big vinyl haul. We were supposed to return on Saturday to that location and do a bit more digging, but unfortunately that had to be called off because the guy informed us that he wasn't going to be around. So just waiting to see. Hopefully we can get back there again pretty soon, because we're dying to get our hands on to do another rummage around there and see what we turn up and to pick up the stuff that we have left behind. I'm going to be showing you some VCLT from Ben. I'm going to show some record store day, well, only two. I just picked up two items, and a general update. So I'm going to start off with Ben Costello. Needs no introduction. He knows I'm a big Bowie fan, so he grabbed these Bowie 7-inch singles for me. So this is DJ. They all come in these lovely picture sleeves. DJ, so that's that's from Lodger. Yep. Fashion, which is from, it's from Super Creeps, Scary Monster Super Creeps. Breaking Glass, which is a live recording. I think, yeah, that's from Stage, I think. Yeah, it is. This one I hadn't seen before, an interesting one. When the Wind Blows, instrumental, and it's from the soundtrack of an animated film. It's also called When the Wind Blows. It's actually the theme tune to that from '86, and again from Lodger. This is Boys Keep Swinging, and sporting the cover art from that album, Lodger. And the other item that Ben gave me is one that he actually had this. I actually knew he had this for quite a while, since before Christmas, but I hadn't managed to pick it up off him. But now I have it in my mitts, and this is something that Ben found picked up cheaply in a furniture store of all places, a second-hand furniture store, and this is by Karlheinz Stockhausen, and this is Prozession. Stockhausen, as you know, very hard to come across in the wild, so this is a very, very welcome addition to my collection. This is from 1968, I think. This is a US pressing. Comes with this insert about the release, all about the recording of it and all the information there, and it's in really, really nice condition, really nice clean copy. So I'm always on the lookout for Stockhausen. I only have a couple of items by him, but this is really, really welcome, and thanks very much for that, Ben. Really, really appreciate that. Now, as you know, Saturday was record store day. Didn't pick up too many items, mainly for mainly for cost reasons. The one item which I was determined to grab, I actually had it reserved, so that's Brian Eno, My Squelchy Live. This was recorded back in 1991, but Eno, at the last minute, it was pulled. There's extensive. There's a couple of interviews actually with Eno from around the time. He explains that the reason he pulled it was because he eventually went on to kind of rework most of the tracks, and it appeared kind of more or less in a different form. On his next album, which was, what was that again? Nervenet, which came out in '92. Now this, My Squelchy Life, actually did get a CD release last year as part of a box set, Nervenet box set, but this is its first release on vinyl. I think somewhere I read there was 4,000 copies, somewhere else then it was 750, I'm not 100% sure, but it is a limited record store day only release. It's a double album, and it's kind of it harks back to song-based style of the 70s. A very interesting album indeed. I wouldn't put it up there, with his best, but it certainly is, very, very welcome to get a release, because it's well worth grabbing if you're an Eno enthusiast. So I'm very, very happy to grab that, and we'll be seeing more from Eno later in the programme. The only other item I got, this is kind of a blind buy. This is a 10-inch by a group called, and I'm not going to pronounce this right, Krue-Ang-Bin, which is a Thai word. They're a US-based group who do kind of psych pop with a strong Thai influence. This is limited to 1,000 copies, and this is number 64. It's on white vinyl, and they do covers of music by, it's a mini EP, so they do covers by Ennio Morricone, Yellow Magic Orchestra, Sergei Gainsbourg, and this person here, who I presume is a Thai musician. I'm extremely glad I grabbed this, because it is very good indeed. It's a nice kind of piece of instrumental psych with a Southeast Asian influence. So so it was well worth grabbing, I think. Now, moving on to some of my general pickups recently. This is something which has been shown in BC a couple of times recently by David Sequoia Flame, and somebody else showed us as well. Sonic Mainliner, Andreas Sonic Mainliner. So this is Alien Ensemble. This is a jazz ensemble from Germany with their self-titled debut album. This is from 2014. It's a recent release, but I actually got this half price because, as you might recall, there was a half price sale in my local independent record store recently. They still have some items from that sale which didn't sell in a bargain section. So that's where I came across this. So I did it. So I got it half the normal retail price. It's well worth grabbing. Very, very nice. Kind of cool jazz. A bit of free jazz in there as well. Yeah, it's very, very nice release. Love the artwork as well, and highly recommend tracking this down if you can. And another item that I got in the half price section as well, another item which was left over from the sale, was this. This is by a group called Pseudo Code, who are a Belgian industrial synth outfit who were active in the late 70s, early 80s. This is called Slaughter in a Tiny Place. Double album compilation, which was released in 2010, I think. So all of this was recorded between 1980 and 82, I think. Kind of reminiscent of Throbbing Gristle. In fact, in places they sound kind of almost too reminiscent, as if they're kind of doing, like the vocalist kind of does a very good impression of Genesis P-Orridge, but it's well worth grabbing if you're into that sort of thing. And again, I got it half price, half the normal retail price. Okay, moving on. Returning to Mr. Eno, this is something which was on my want list for a very long time. I spotted a copy on Discogs going relatively cheaply, so I grabbed it, and that is Ambient 1, Music for Airports from 1978, his first album in the Ambient series. Now, condition-wise, there are quite a bit. There's a few marks on it, so it means that the very first tune, you do get quite a bit of surface noise and a bit of crackle. The rest of it and side 2 then is pretty okay. But this is generally very, very expensive, but I got this fairly cheaply enough. And it comes with the inner sleeve as well, which is what look like coffee stains or something on it. I've been looking to get this album for a long, long time. You know, the sound quality isn't great, but at least I have my hands on it now, so it is a filler copy, I suppose you could say. But anyway, a couple of items that I picked up recently in there's a kind of vintage flea market that I pop into now and again. Not the Mother Jones flea market, it's a different one. Two items that I picked up. This is Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band Strictly Personal, their second album. This is a reissue from 1971. It's originally came out in 68, so this is a 71 reissue on Sunset records. The vinyl is okay. There's a couple of light scratches. Plays fine. Now the back cover is very heavily water damaged, so front cover is fine. This album, it features an effect known as flanging. It's that kind of weird effect that I don't know how to describe it. It kind of distorts the voice and the instruments. Beefheart himself wasn't too happy with it because apparently it was added afterwards without his knowledge. But still, this is an extremely good album. It's probably a lot more accessible than Truck Mask Replica, which immediately came after it, and which I have as well. So the other item I picked up with it was something again that was long on my want list, and that is Lou Reed Transformer. Don't really need to go too much into this album because I'm sure you're all familiar with it. This is an original US pressing, an RCA. It's in lovely condition, really nice clean copy, and plays perfectly. So you'll be familiar with most of the songs in this: Walk on the Wild Side, Satellite of Love, etc. And this is the album which really kind of broke him into the mainstream, and features that great cover portrait of him there. Now, recently I went home to my hometown for a few days, which is not here in Cork City. It's actually out in the countryside, about 60 miles away. While I was down home, I went to a nearby town where they have a monthly market. It's kind of a farmer's market, but it draws a lot of unusual characters, a lot of kind of hippies and kind of unusual characters who've settled in that area in West Cork. So there was a couple of at this market there was a couple of vinyl sellers. One guy in particular had a very interesting selection, and money was a bit limited, but I did grab two fantastic items. Again, something else which was on my want list: Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here, from 1975. This is a UK first pressing. So, you know, you know, the title track, Wish You Were Here, which is about Syd Barrett, and of course it's surrounded, you know, that there's an anecdote about Syd Barrett himself popped in during the recording of this album. Welcome to the Machine, Have a Cigar, which features what's his name? Roy Harper, in really nice condition. I got it for €10. It's missing the postcard insert, and of course the sleeve wrap, but I think they very seldom turn up anyway. But it's a lovely copy of this classic album, and I'm really glad to add that to my collection. The other item which I picked up along with it was this, and this is Stevie Wonder songs in the Key of Life, the original UK pressing. This is probably Stevie Wonder's last really kind of classic album, and it's from 1976, and it was, it came, kind of, a run of, really fantastic albums from about 71 to 76. So this it's a double album again. Comes with a booklet as well. Apparently there was a bonus 7-inch single came with this as well, but that's not included. But I think possibly it can be picked up cheaply enough on Discog, so I may just see if I can track that down. But great songs featured on this. What's that one that was kind of reworked by, what's his name, that rapper, Pastime Paradise was what that guy, Gangster's Paradise, kind of tweaked it around. But this is the original and best. So this is just an amazing album, and really glad to pick this up, because I must try and pick up some of his other classic 70s albums. Talking Book and Inner Visions, but I have that one in the bag now. I think that's all the new. That's everything. So just returning to our big haul, myself and Ben's big haul from last week. I still haven't played all the albums I picked up. I picked up something like 20 albums, so I'm still working my way through them, but I have cleaned them all. So Francois's Hardy, cleaned that. Sounds amazing. Perfect condition. The Red Crayola, again, an amazing find. And Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks. I haven't played this one yet, but I've given it a clean, and I think I can honestly say that it has never been played. It is in absolutely mint condition. There's no sign of any. There's not a single mark on it. There's no spindle marks. This has never ever been played, so I'm just waiting for just the right moment to play it. Just some evening when I have no interruptions or anything. So just savouring that. Again, the Shirley Collins album, which didn't have a sleeve in it, it reminded me to dig out something which I got last year in a charity shop. This is the only item I have which features Shirley Collins. This is called A Jug of Punch. It's a compilation album from 1960, which came out on HMV. I found this in a charity shop for €2.50, and it's quite rare. And again, I've only played this twice, but I think quite possibly that it may never have been played before I picked it up, because it's just in absolutely stunning condition. And has the original inner bag and everything, and the laminated sleeve in beautiful condition, and with that great artwork on the cover. So okay, so 24 minutes, I'll leave it at that. Thanks very much for watching, and keep an eye out, because we may possibly be having another haul to show. Fingers crossed.